This is The Bottom Line with Onimwa.
Hello there and a very warm welcome to The Bottom Line with me, Bonimwa. Today we have the singular pleasure of having the Director General of the Southwest Development Authority, SOWEDA, an institution in the heart of driving socio-economic transformation across the Southwest region. In this conversation, we shall explore the progress made so far, the challenges made, and the vision that lies ahead for sustainable development in the region. Please join me to welcome the Director General of SOWEDA. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bonimwa, for coming to talk to us. It's our pleasure to receive you here in Boya, the seat of the region.
Yes, many people hear about SOWEDA, but they don't fully understand its missions. In simple terms, how would you describe what SOWEDA stands for and the vision that is in the heart of this project?
Yeah, thank you. SOWEDA is the Southwest Development Authority. It is an administrative public establishment created by presidential decree in 1987, and it became operational through its first project, the Integrated Rural Development Project, that was financed by the government of Cameroon and the African Development Bank. That started in 1992. And since then, SOWEDA has been running a couple of projects, and sometimes when there are no projects, through its own activities, we try to reach out to the farming population of the Southwest region. So basically, the mission of the establishment is to drive sustainable rural development. And of course, when we talk about rural development, agriculture stands out clearly that is the main stay of the population in the rural areas. But of course, we also look at infrastructure, rural infrastructure. So those are some of the things that SOWEDA has been doing. Of course, we also, like I said, apart from the traditional activities of SOWEDA itself, we try to formulate and seek for funding for high impact projects, long-term projects for a period of about 5, 6, or even 7 years. And over the years now since SOWEDA started, we've had 4 of such projects. We've had the Integrated Rural Development Integrated Rural Development Project from 1992, and we've also had the Livestock and Fishery Development Project. We had the Rumpi Area Participatory Development Project as well. And currently we have the AIBDP, which is the Agricultural Infrastructure and Value Chain Development Project, which should be ending this December, that's next month. But we've just put in a request to the Islamic Development Bank, who are our funders, to give us some time to wrap up with some of the activities. So we're hoping that that extension that will take us to April 2026 will be granted.
Yes, well, for the 4 main projects that you just cited, we know the Rumpi project. Yeah, no, yes. But the others are not really familiar. But
well, of course, these are projects that were done long ago, and they have all ended. Okay. You know, yes. So
but when you talk of the livestock and fishery development, did it actually make any impact on the lives of the people?
Of course, I am sure it did. With all this, you know, most of the times projects come and go, but of course, the interventions of those projects remain. And there's always the challenge of sustainability.
It's the sustainability that I wanted us to dwell on. Yes, the end users, the farmers, yes, did they continue with this project?
Yes. No, well, the end users are not expected to continue with the project, but the project is there to initiate certain actions, which people pick up those actions and they try to continue. They try to capitalize on those actions that have been initiated by the project. So if you ask, for instance, the impact of the Livestock and Fishery Development Project, without being involved, without being in SOWEDA at the time, I know for sure that there are farmers who benefited a lot from that project in the area of livestock. I remember also there were some fishermen that were trained, because it will surprise you to note that in the Southwest region we have the longest coastline in the country, but yet most of our shores are paraded by fishermen from neighboring countries.
I was coming to that question because you know that if the fishermen actually appropriated this project, they would have been the ones now.
Yes, so some of them were trained and some of them were given equipment and they used it over there. I'm sure that some lives were touched significantly through that livestock and fishery development project.
Yes, when you stepped into this role as Director General in 2019,
right?
What was the first thing you told yourself you wanted to achieve for the Southwest region?
One of the things that is for us to put back the Southwest region on the map of this country as one of the main bread baskets of this nation.
It is, we know, right?
Yes, we are, I would say by the gift of nature, we have relatively fertile soils in the country. We have abundant rainfall, in as much as sometimes that rainfall becomes a nuisance, but it is, of course, one of the factors that we need in order to do agriculture. And so that is why in our region we have so many crops that we're able to produce. And so when I came to SOWEDA as Director General
in 2019,
I said, no, whether you like it or not, we must always have to aspire to do better than the previous administration. Otherwise, if we don't have that objective, then there is no need to
and when you compare the two regimes,
so it is not like it's a game or trying to like run down maybe the previous administration definitely did a wonderful job, but it is our responsibility to do better than us. And I'm sure that the powers that gave us this opportunity, that is what they expect from us. And so that is what I said to myself. And so what I did was I made a document which we call the Strategic Development Plan, which was at the time in gestation, and first thing we did was complete that document. And so today we operate under the guidance of a Strategic Development Plan document 2021-2030, 10 years. And this document, we crafted it in such a way that we took into consideration the policy of the nation, the NDS 30, and all other policies that the government has put in place now, which have been implemented. So we have that. So that is the guiding factor. The second thing is, in 2019, it will surprise you to know, I took over in July, I was appointed in June, and immediately we got a new organigram for SOWEDA. And so today we have a new organigram which was approved by the board. That is what we're implementing with 3 departments. We have a department for administration and finance, a department for rural infrastructure, and a department for agriculture, livestock, and fishery. This was to enable us have a structure that can deliver on the strategic development plan that we elaborated. And so I think with that we are making quite some strife. There are significant changes and results that we are getting on the ground today.
Yes, SOWEDA has been involved in so many projects.
Right.
Which recent project are you personally most proud of, and why?
Well, I have to clarify maybe here the project, when we talk about the project, because when we use projects here, sometimes we refer, like I said, to these high impact projects that usually we get the government to support us. We have the AIVDP, which is Agriculture, Infrastructure and Value Chain Development Project. We started in 2019, and I just said it was supposed to be ending this year.
But you're asking for
we're asking for 4 months extension to make sure that we complete all the activities. This is a very high impact project. It is a very high impact project. It's funded by the government and the Islamic Development Bank. Through this project, we are constructing 70 kilometers of road into production basins to assist those communities. So you imagine,
and we want to know the trajectory of these roads, because when they hear about infrastructure, they want to know exactly from where. Production basins good, but from where to where?
Right. For instance, we are doing a road from Gusi. Gusi is in Central Bakosi, that is in Tombel subdivision, and we're taking it to Nyandong. Nyandong is in Western Bakosi, not too far from Konye, and you can imagine that all the people in Western Bakosi, their subdivisional headquarters is Tombel. But for them to come to Tombel, they have to come down to Kumba and then go back to Tombel. So we're doing this road from Gusi now through the forest to Nyandong.
How far have you gone with the project?
We have already, it's virtually all opened in terms of bulldozing. We have less than 10 kilometers of bulldozing that is left. So that's why I was talking about this extension we're asking for. Okay. In the dry season, we're going to have the road graded. We're building a bridge over River Chede, which, those are some of the obstacles, and there are several other bridges that we're going to build. We are equally opening another road. I think that road is 10.5 kilometers. At Nbakwasupe, you cross the Mongo. We're taking across the Mongo to go to Nongambadiba. We're building a 50-meter span bridge over the Mongo. And these are communities that have never seen a car. If I show you pictures of some of those areas, you see people.
We need to have some of those
people are crossing rivers on the cane bridges or hammock, as we call them. So you can imagine the difference. So in addition to the 70 kilometers of road which we are opening, we are also rehabilitating 220 kilometers of road. So, and these roads, we have some of them are in the Obang area in Mojok subdivision, some are in Kokoboma area, and so on.
So they span across all.
Yeah, so the roads are spread in the region, but you know the region is a big geographical area, and the level of development is not all the same. Most of the roads that we are rehabilitating, as you know, we are gradually coming out of a crisis situation. They have not seen the blade of a bulldozer or a grader for the last 8 years or so. And so it's great impact that we're doing. Of course, in the project, the AIBDP, for instance, we are building 2 semi-industrial processing units for cocoa. You know,
where exactly?
One is in Kumba, one is in Manfe.
Yeah, we know that Kumba is one of the production bases of cocoa in the country. Yes,
absolutely, yes. And then we are also building 2 semi-industrial processing units. One in Bombay, Bakundo, along the way to Kumba, and then one in Bacho Kagbe, in
you touched sensitive production of cocoa, for example, because in the past couple of years now, it's like most of the cocoa here has been sold to Nigeria.
Yes.
So is that a way of curtailing this export to Nigeria, or maybe just making the farmers master their...
No, the thing is this, when we started this project was in 2015, late 2015, 2016, that's when we started the project. And at the time, the price of cocoa was very low.
Good,
yeah. Sometimes, a kilogram of cocoa sold as low as maybe
800, 900, and
1,200 in dollar. Yes, and so you come to think of it and you imagine how much farmers spend. The cost of production was even much higher than what farmers were getting. So farmers used to just produce cocoa just for
the sake of production, without actually getting anything.
Yes. So they were actually at a loss, and some of them sometimes will even decide not to treat, and when they don't maintain their farms properly, whatever they can get from it, they get from it. But so it was really bad business for farmers. Meanwhile, at the same time, we're trying to tell farmers to do agriculture as a business. And so when you try to do that, you realize that you're not making money. So we came to the conclusion that we have, and of course in our project, we embedded this aspect of value addition. And we said that farmers should already begin to do some level of value addition at their own, that is at the level of the farmers' organization. So that's why we came up with the semi-industrial processing units. The idea is to get the cooperatives to, instead of selling cocoa in the form of beans, they can grind the cocoa, have cocoa powder, cocoa butter, cocoa oil, and with this, they will then able to sell directly to the chocolate industry.
And you help them in facilitating getting partners?
Of course, that is what. In fact, that is exactly what we are doing now. So, for instance, we have the cocoa process, the 2 semi-industrial processing units. We work with the cocoa unions, the cooperative unions that are involved in cocoa production, and they formed an apex organization which is called the Southwest Association of Cocoa Unions, SWACU. So these 2 mills are going to be managed by SWACU. We have already, one of them will be in the days ahead be commissioned on the 11th of December. Will be commissioned by the Minister of Agriculture in Kumba, and we hand it over to SWACU Presently, SWACO is working with a group which is based in London.
Wow.
For the marketing of cocoa powder, cocoa butter, and cocoa oil.
And then you talk about price hike.
Yeah, so you can imagine what happens. So instead of sending out beans, they will be sending out these semi-finished products, and the factory will generate jobs for some people. And the fact that the cocoa is crushed here will add value, and the cooperative, if they manage all of that well, the members who are the farmers will definitely get dividends from their work. I mean, we don't intend to crush all the cocoa products that is produced. It's not possible. Yes.
How do you measure real impact beyond completed structures like the roads you're talking about and the facilities of the cocoa transformation and stuff on communities across the Southwest? Apart from this, how do you measure this impact?
No, we have in every, even in SOWEDA, in our structure, we have a monitoring and evaluation unit. In the projects, we have my monitoring and evaluation units, and from time to time we just done an impact assessment of the AIVDP, and you can see, for instance, you take where some of the roads have already been done. You from the interviews that were done with people, you can see that there is a cut in the waiting time for people to travel. We did the same for the Lumtombe Kumba Road, which was blocked for several years because of the crisis. We opened it 2 years ago, and
which state are you talking about? In a good shape or still the old?
No. Of course, SOWEDA does not have the capacity to tar roads, so we do earth roads. We have an equipment pool. And so when the impact, you can measure it different ways. There's impact at the level of the users, like I just talked about. The cost of transport fare goes down, the waiting time goes down, and the comfort on the road increases. For those who are transporters, the cost of maintenance of their cars is cut down drastically. The revenue that they make from transportation, because they can do more trips. I take example that like what we did in the Lumtombe Kumba Road. People were paying about 6,000-7,000 from Lum to Kumba. When we did the road, it dropped to about 2,000, 2,500. So even though the price dropped, but people were still making more money because they were making more trips.
Yeah, more trips.
Yes, right. So you have like these boys who are running motorcycles. So in a day, instead of making one trip from Lum to Kumba and back to Lum, they are able to do maybe 3-4 trips.
Wow.
That is to and fro, 3 or 4 times.
Yes, we know that the Southwest region has unique challenges.
Right.
From infrastructure gaps to security issues. Which challenges keep you awake all night? And how is SOWEDA working to address it?
I think having been in the region here for almost all of my career, which I started in 1987, and when I came back from overseas in 1992, I have mostly been in the Southwest region, apart from 2 years when I was in the central administration. I can tell you the challenges that we have known before the crisis were the roads. And as a development agent, we were always trying to see how, because like it's always said, when the road passes, development follows.
Right.
And we have seen it in some places, instances where we did roads, whether just rehabilitation, opening, we saw that the economy of the rural areas started changing. But in the recent times, what keeps me awake has been this insecurity. As I worked in the region as Provincial Chief of Service for Agri-Production from 1998 to 2005. During that time, I was also running the World Bank project for they call it the National Agricultural Extension and Research Program. I worked as coordinator of Rumpi project. I can tell you, Bonnie, I was able to go to anywhere
at any time,
region at any time, and I will stay in the village at to any length of time, as long as I know that I have my car is reliable, my driver is reliable, and we'll leave a community even at 10 o'clock and we'll drive back to town. But today, if I'm thinking of going out to the field, I have to prepare myself over and over again and think whether I will make the trip or I will not make the trip. So that is the challenge that we have been facing. insecurity. And this insecurity is not just like at my level, even with the partners that we work with, contractors that we work with.
Exactly.
People are
very few want to stick their necks to go out and execute a project.
And that's true. And then secondly, programming is very difficult. A job that you could do in a month, you may not even be able to do it in 6 months. If you were to just imagine, for instance, the so-called ghost towns, 52 Mondays in a year.
That's 52 months.
Yes, so you can imagine that's basically almost 2 months of work that is lost.
So, and how do you circumvent all these issues?
Yeah, of course, we one of the things that we have taken, which was not our responsibility per se, is sensitization, educating our people and letting them to understand that these things that we do, and we are happy that we're having the opportunity to do it, supported by development partners, some of them international NGOs, and some of them, like I talked of banks and so on, and all of that. So we try to educate our people to understand that politics is supposed to bring development. And so we must use it for that purpose. We cannot do something that is counterproductive, and we expect that we are developing. We just need to look back and ask ourselves, are we better off today than we were maybe before 2017? The answer for me is definitely no, we are not. Because in 2017, I give you a simple example. We have an activity here on the area of micro finance.
Right.
In Rumpi project, we created 55 village banks. We brought them together and we created a network that had over 17,000 members, mostly farmers, people in village areas. When we did the last audit of that network in 2016, with 17,000 plus members, they were able to mobilize 1.6 billion francs of their own money as credit that they had in those small establishments. They were able to give out loans for 1.2 billion. This is their own money. It's not money that anybody came from
outside, right?
Yeah, so those are some of things that, if by today like this, would have been long gone. Maybe those people would have been talking about maybe 5 billion or so and so.
Okay, so how do you ensure that projects continue even in hard to reach conflict areas of the affected communities? How do you actually put these projects to go right to a place like, let's say, Oyumojog or Akwaya, for example?
For example, you have just called Akwaya.
Yes.
We are building 2 rice hulling mills in Akwaya. Yes, we're building 2 rice hulling mills. It's a challenge for us, because up to now, the contractors involved have not finished because of the situation that we have in Akwaya. If it is not the insecurity, we have intertribal conflicts and so on. We have farmer grazier problems and all of those. But we are doing it, like I said, we come in with the prime objective to make life better for the people. And so we put ourselves in a situation where we let them know that we're not taking sides on whatever is happening, because we know there are other institutions that are there to assist with conflict resolutions and so forth, and we need those institutions, because if the conflict persists, we cannot also do anything. But what we try to get the people to understand, like I said earlier, is to sensitize them that through development, sustainable development, they will be able to have a better life.
Yes, and how often do you get feedback from the communities you serve? What is the piece of feedback that really changed your approach in doing some of the works that you are doing?
Yeah, that is a very good question. And one of the things that we've had, we are working presently in Owe in Moyuka here, it's not far from here,
right?
Where we were trying to get farmers to buy cocoa, even though we sell it to them at a very subsidized cocoa seedlings. And we got some farmers whom we trained, and they themselves said that they want to take over the production, the production of cocoa seedling.
Okay.
And we're working with them. We've signed little conventions, MOUs, memorandum of understanding. We've signed some MOUs with them, and the farmers themselves are doing it. So some of those things, they really mark our attention when the farmers are
appropriating
they are taking over what we are doing, and they come forward and say that give it to us. For instance, last year, these farmers in a way, we had a contract, an MOU with them for them to produce 30,000 cocoa seedlings. For 2026, they are going to produce 60,000.
Wow.
And they have
double
whereas what they have already accepted. They're going to do 60,000. Of course, we know that everybody now who is doing agriculture in the southwest, where I mean, most of them want to do cocoa because of the price of cocoa. They've not seen that cocoa is.
And as you said at the beginning of this conversation, that they do it as a business.
Yes, as a business.
As real business.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So those are some of the things that really mark our attention, and so we try to continue to press on.
Please don't go away. Continue to watch The Bottom Line as we move into the second segment of our conversation. Continue to share, like, and subscribe to our platform.
Goshen Land City, a cozy way of living at home away from home. A majestic twin tower situated at Limbola, opposite the entrance to Mile 6 Beach Limbe. Beautifully couched between Mount Cameroon and the Atlantic Ocean. We offer various packages: business class lodges with 2 bedrooms, executive apartments with 3 bedrooms, royal attic suites with 2 bedrooms. All provided with luxurious sitting rooms, Porsche bedrooms, well-equipped functional kitchens, exquisite toilets, and sea-view verandas, giving you an idea of Equatorial Guinea by night. A standby generator ensuring constant electricity supply, full autonomy and clean running water, Wi-Fi, TV packages, secure parkings, plus laundry, shuttle, and car rental services available. We are ideally suited for couple, family, or group stays. Whether visiting or holidaying in the tourist city of Limbe, Goshen Land City is your best bet. Discover Goshen Land City for its exquisite beauty, and you'll come back for its impeccable services. Contact us at 675-113-244 or 688-358-436.
Welcome back. Agriculture is at the heart of the region. What new support systems or innovations is SOWEDA bringing to farmers, especially smallholders?
Right. Thank you for that very interesting question. And it touches one of the things that we tried to introduce during our time here recently, which is the promotion of white pepper.
Wow.
Yes, you know, white pepper, people have called it white gold. And
is it a poivre that is
poivre de penja?
Yeah, poivre de penja, yes.
And you know that the southwest region is neighbor to the littoral region.
Yes.
Penja is neighbor. Penja is in the Coupe mountain area, and Coupe mountain is also in the southwest. One of the divisions of the southwest region is called Coupe Maniguba. And so the question is, why would the farmers in the Penja and other on the eastern side of the Coupe be having that, and then we don't have it in the southwest? And so we have some farmers already in the southwest who are producing white pepper, but we felt that it's not good enough, and so we're trying to promote. And so we are presently working with farmers in Tombel subdivision, and we have been training them. We have provided planting material to them. We've set up a seed multiplication farm here in Likombe. We've raised nursery right here in Boya and produced planting pepper seedlings. We've raised a nursery in Kuba. And I think so far we've already done more than 8,000 seedlings that we have given out to farmers.
Is it going to be done in this greenhouse?
No, we do this. No, not in the greenhouse. We just do the seedlings in the nursery.
Okay.
Then we give them, and then they plant them out. But what we want to do is to promote the white pepper cultivation throughout the region where it can grow. And we know that it will do well already in Tombel. Is the right ecology, and Meme, and we're hoping that in 2026 we'll extend to divisions like Manu as well. So that is one of the new things that we are bringing. Another innovation that we are also promoting now is the drying of cocoa to improve on the quality of cocoa. With the price that farmers are experiencing, it will be heartbroken for a farmer to produce his cocoa and then he cannot sell it because of poor quality. You remember, at some years back, there was a problem of smoke contaminated cocoa.
The quality of cocoa from Cameroon.
Cameroon,
Right.
yes. One was that people were selling cocoa that was not properly dried. Second, it was contaminated from the ovens that were used to dry. Now we're doing solar greenhouse dryers, yes, which we don't use any fire anymore, so there's no smoke. And we are hoping that the farmers will pick this up and they'll be able to to improve on the quality of their cocoa beans. These solar greenhouse dryers they come along with fermentation facilities, because also the quality of cocoa depends on the fermentation process. If the cocoa is properly fermented, then it has more weight. When it dries, it gets a good brown color, and that is what actually you can be able to have a good grade, and you may have a premium for that grade when you sell.
Yes, many young people feel left out
Right.
in most development conventions and conversations, excuse me.
Right.
How is SOWEDA involving youth in these programs? Because the youth, we know, they have the energy and they have that resilience. I mean, they have ideas on how to actually bring about innovations.
You know,
how are they?
we are involving the women and the youths.
And the youths, okay.
Yes, women and the youths, because we know that, first of all, the youths are the majority of the population. Cameroon has a relatively young population. We are better than most other countries where the population is instead aging. But strange enough, in our agriculture until recently, the farmers were also aging.
Okay.
Because the youths were moving out.
And they thought that maybe farming was for the poor and the elderly.
Yes, farming was for the poor and the elderly farming. And that is why rural development comes in again, because when the living conditions in the rural area are not good, the youths will all go out. They don't have access to water, they will not stay. Through SOWEDA, every year, when I say SOWEDA and its projects, every year we build several water schemes to make sure that people have access to
boreholes and everything.
Yes, so we're doing all of that so that the living conditions can be better and the youths can stay. And then, of course, if you improve the living conditions, they should have economic activities. And that is why we are doing all the agricultural activities, providing planting material. I will tell you, for instance, we provide, through AIVDP, we provided more than 7 million cassava cuttings. We provided 300 cassava graters and press for women, especially so that women don't have to grind cassava by hand again, but also to enable them to expand on their farm size, because if they can process easily, then they can increase their production.
Yeah, I'll take this as a simple example. I'm a farmer. I want to get maybe some not only information, but maybe resources from you. Maybe the cassava, this thing you were talking about. Can an individual just approach you, or they must go through a cooperative?
Yeah, no, the idea is that we want to reach out to as many farmers as possible. So we cannot address individual I would say, individual demands. But having said that, there are other areas where we address individual demands. For instance, if you want planting material, you clear your farm. Whatever quantity of planting material you want, as an individual, we'll provide it to you at a very affordable price, subsidized, highly subsidized. I take a cutting of cassava that is sold for about 35-40 francs. We sell it for 1 franc.
Wow.
Yes, so we do that to individuals. Cocoa, if you want to raise your nursery, we give you the pot, which is a hybrid cocoa. We give it for free, and we transport it and bring it to most of them. We bring them right to their doorstep. So we give you the cocoa pot for free. If it's seedlings, we sell it a seedling 50 francs when we raise the nursery. But the idea of working working with groups, like I said, is for us to reach out to many farmers. And
right.
when we are providing processing units, we provide them to groups. We can't provide a processing unit to an individual, no matter how small that processing unit might be. We must provide it to groups.
Yes, people always want to know how public funds are used.
Right.
So what steps does SOWEDA take to ensure transparency and accountability?
The first thing is that we are an administrative public establishment. And so whether it is SOWEDA or SOWEDA formulated projects like AIVDP, RUMP, and so on, we respect public procurement procedures. Public procurement procedures, which means that we have to go to tendering, we launch tenders, and people go through tenders boards and so forth. That's the first thing. So we don't just award contracts maybe to friends and associates.
Maybe as was done in the past.
No. So we go through the public procurement procedure. That is one. Second, with that, there are all various commissions that go to inspect the work and make sure that the work is properly done. Third is that we do audits, annual audits, independent auditors who come and they go through and check all the books. Yeah, and this is one other recommendation, which is, of course, you can't operate without having an audit system with international partners. So I can guarantee you that the use of public funds is very transparent. Yeah.
Yes, how do you build trust with communities that have been disappointed by development projects in the past? You know, when they hear about a government project is coming, they think about, in the past, this is what happened, so what we are saying, we are not interested. How do you build trust?
Like I said, the beginning is, first of all, there's the participatory aspect. You have to get the people involved from the very beginning, and you have to get them involved through and through, even if they are working, we're working with a contractor, but you get them to know what is going on so that they can be able to tell you. I remember a concrete example which always marked my memory. We built what we call a Community Educational Action Center, SEAC, in one village in Bakwasupe. In that village, we have community management. I mean, when we do all these projects, we usually have management committees that we create at the level of the village. But in Bakwasupe, we had one gentleman there, I've forgotten his name. He was always making sure he calls us and gives us information.
Good.
This man is making cement, a bag of cement. I can see him, he's already making about 35 blocks or 38 blocks from one bag of cement. I think that is too much for a bag of cement.
Exactly, it's supposed to be...
Yeah, so it's supposed to be at most 30, should stay around 30 for the quality of the block to be strong and so on. So one of the things, like I said, is to have these management committees, and those management committees also help us as far as sustainability is concerned, because after the project does the work and goes, the management committees are the ones who are going to, the villagers will use it, and so it is their infrastructure, so they have to manage it. The other aspect is we have control missions. When we major projects that require control missions, we employ control mission, and the control mission is there. So we control the control mission, while the control mission controls the contractor who is executing. And then, of course, I talk about the community, the proximity community control, which is done by the villagers.
Yeah, Mr. Director General, this very important question.
Right.
What is being done to help rural communities increase their income and become more resilient? Because at the end of the day, they want to make money,
Absolutely.
not only make more money.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All these things that we are doing help them to become resilient, definitely. The old policies of diversification, you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. So that is to increase resilience. And I think the aspect of resilience has even become fundamental today, because we have another factor, which is climate change.
Yeah.
And so, other than just the economic aspect, climate change is something that is also threatening our farmers. And so we are also working on that to make them to become more and more...
So that they can adapt to the climate change.
Yes, exactly. Like I said, diversification, we're getting them to do not just do one crop. So you find today, you can go to the villages and you find that even men and you are involved in cassava production. People used to think that cassava
was a
production
woman.
was a woman crop. Even men are also involved in it. And the men can easily be involved in it because of the support that we're also giving. When we give some of these processing units to the farmers, it encourages them to produce more. And when like the men see that the women are beginning to make more money from their own activities, then the men to try to join them.
Yes, if you were to fast forward
Right.
5 years from now, what changes do you hope SOWEDA will have delivered across the Southwest region? That if you were to fast forward, look in 5 years to come,
Yeah.
what do you think that SOWEDA would have done?
One of the things that we are looking forward to is to have a very strong base for the production of good quality planting material. We have put in place 4 seed multiplication farms. One in Ekona, one in Kang, Barombi, in Kumba, one in Obang, in Lamfe, one in Nyan. In the next 5 years, I will want to see these seed multiplication farms to become highly professional, scientific structures that produce quality material. Because in agriculture or in agronomy, we say that if you have a good seed, you're already sure of 35% of the yield, just by the material that you have. The rest of it, tendering the crop and so on, treating, and even today, we are trying to introduce a lot of integrated pest management so that we don't have to use so much chemicals. So planting material, many of our farmers continue to take previous harvest and use as seeds. You cannot go far with that method. And so one of the things that we want to do is to make sure that these seed farms that we have put in place be able to produce good quality planting material. Eventually, seed production is a profession. Somebody can decide to do agriculture and say, I'm not going to do crop.
As a livelihood.
I'm not going to produce to sell produce maybe for food, but I'll just be doing seed production. Yeah. So with time, we could hand over some of those installations that we are putting in place to farmers whom we train, and they'll be able to manage that.
You said something a few minutes ago that with the good seedlings you have,
But 35% of the
35% of the yield
is already guaranteed.
Here, do you talk of hybrid?
No. Well, it depends on. There are some crops that, like I just talked about cocoa.
Right.
What the planting material we give for cocoa is hybrid. Yes, it's hybrid. But and
the quality now, the quality remains the same or premium.
Cocoa is a perennial crop. Yeah. So once it's a cross. Once you have the hybrid, it's a tree, and it will produce for the rest of its life the same quality. It doesn't change. What changes is when, like, you're dealing with maybe maize. You produce this year, the next year is a different plant and so forth that you're going to plant completely. So
yeah, but here farmers and of course consumers are also afraid of genetically modified.
Yes. No, we in Cameroon so far, at least we are shielded from the problems of genetically GMOs. No, I think the government still has a policy to protect the people but eventually it might come, but for now we are sure.
Yes, Mr. General Manager, Director General, if additional funding suddenly becomes available, what would be the first project or sector you would invest immediately?
Yes, I will invest on roads. The Southwest, yes, because if you produce and you can't get it out, then you have done nothing. We need to disenclave our production basins. Farmers should be able to produce, and people come and pick it up from their farm gates. Farmers should not produce and have to start thinking, how do I get this out? I have seen situations where 5 bunches of plantain are sold for maybe 2,000 francs. Because there's no road.
No, right.
Yes. I have seen situations where buy and seller women come all the way from Douala and they buy at very cheap price, and it remains there. They don't even have the transport to go to take it out. Yeah, so you see, it is not only the farmer who is losing, even the middlemen sometimes are also in a very difficult situation. So if I were to have funding, We have, right now, we have an equipment pool, but which is already suffering. If we have funding, we want to have at least three active brigades of our equipment pool, such that we can deploy them. You know, in the Southwest, like I said, we have rain. Some more years we have 8 months of rain, so which means we have only 4 months of dry season, and it's only during those 4 months of dry season that we can do some road work and open the area. And so if we were to have 3 brigades of equipment, we're sure that we can tackle roads in 3 different basins at the same time, production basins at the same time, and maybe after 2 months or 3 months we can move to another set of routes and so forth.
Yeah, as the project manager, when you're writing your project to this funding,
multilateral development banks,
don't you actually bring in this aspect of infrastructure and let them, they can even come and then share their own experiences, not only brigades?
Of course.
Have they been doing that? How do they react to that?
Of course they do that. When we write projects, we send them it goes through the government machinery, and eventually gets approved by our financial and technical partners. They come to the field, and when we're executing the projects, they come to the field, they come for supervision. They don't just give us support and stay away. They actually come to the field and see what we are doing. And we all learn lessons from what we do every day. So they work with us.
Yeah, Mr. Director General, what do you want your legacy at SOWEDA to be when people look 10 years back from now?
One is, at the level of the office here, we want to leave highly professional staff, people who are duty conscious, people who are focused, people of integrity, people who to results is their main objective. You know, sometimes people work, it's like they're
walking sick.
Yeah, for walking sick. But when you work and you take pleasure in the work,
you enjoy what you
are doing, and you know that this is, why am I working? What am I expecting as a result? That is one of the things. If we can get that through the younger generation that is coming behind, I am sure that it will continue to keep this establishment relevant to the government.
Yes, keeping this establishment relevant. I mean, we talk of maybe refresher courses, in-house training and things like that. How are you coping with that in SOWEDA now, as we see?
Yeah, we train people regularly. Every year, like now, we are just preparing budgets for 2026. In there, we inject, we have provisions for training for staff. There are staff who have benefited from training locally. When I say locally, is either we'll do workshops that we bring resource persons, they train them here, or the ones who attend courses out of the office to go to maybe a short course, 3 days, 1 week, and so on. There are staff like through the multilaterally funded projects who have gone abroad for maybe 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, and so on. You know, when you are working, 2 weeks is enough. Yes, anything longer than 2 weeks is a very long training. And then, of course, we also have the policy to encourage our career development for our staff. We are in a university town. We have many institutions here. So staff are able to progress by going back to school. We have the Pan-African Institute, Universities of Boya, Biaka, Catholic Universities, and a lot more other institutions. So we encourage the staff to take advantage of that, but not to the detriment of their services to the establishment.
Yeah, Mr. Director General, can you walk us through the organizational chart of SOWEDA so that people can better understand its functioning?
Right. Thank you for that question. Like I said, SOWEDA is a Southwest Development Authority. It is an administrative public establishment placed under the technical supervision of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. We also have a financial supervisory authority, which is the Ministry of Finance. And so the structure of SOWEDA, we have a board of directors with a board chair, who is an independent person appointed by presidential decree, and we have board members from other entities government ministries, farmers representatives, a staff representative from SOWEDA. We also have representative from the Ministry of Trade, because we're dealing with agriculture, and so we have to be concerned about the quality of the produce that our farmers are getting out. So we have the Ministry of Trade that is also represented. We are doing rural development, rural infrastructure. The Ministry of Public Works is also a member. The Ministry of Livestock is a member in the board. The Ministry of Agriculture is a member. The Ministry of Economy is a member. The Ministry of Finance is a member. So we have all those line ministries that our activities are directly they are concerned with our activities. So they are all members of the board. So I think there are 12 board members and the board chairperson. So that is the main structure that heads SOWEDA. Under the board, you have the directorate, which is headed by the Director General of SOWEDA. And we have 3 departments: the Department of Administration and Finance, the Department of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, and the Department of Rural Infrastructure. Of course, under those departments, you have the various services and bureaus. One of the things that we have done, like I said in passing earlier, is that with the organigram, it allows us that every staff that is in SOWEDA has a duty and a function. And so you must know your job description. So there is nobody whom you have a brother that you say that you are working in SOWEDA. Somebody asks you, what are you in SOWEDA? And you say that I'm just a staff. No, there is nobody who is just a staff. If you are a driver, you are a driver. If you are an attendant to maybe a low loader, for a low loader, you are an attendant to. If you are operator of heavy duty equipment, that is what you are. In the office, you are either a chief of bureau, a chief of service, a sub-director, or a director. So there is nobody who is floating, not knowing what he or she is
so
doing.
the work profile is
clearly spelled
out.
And that is what we're trying to do, to make sure that this has a direct focus on our performance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director General, for taking this valuable time to talk about to make insight on what you are doing. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, the pleasure was mine for Bottom Line to come to Boya to talk to us, to my humble self, and we trust that our viewers, our communities will continue to work with us so that we can together see this country develop and meet up with the government objectives of making it an emerging economy by 2025. There is no 2035.
Right?
2035. There is no way we can emerge without the rural communities moving together with us. So that's why we're talking about inclusive development. And so the Southwest Development Authority is trying to contribute her own little to the construction of the edifice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes,